So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. This will be quite casual. And if you have any questions throughout, please feel free to use the Q&A tab at the very bottom of your screen. We'll try our best to answer them towards the end of the webinar. And if we are unable to answer, then we will get back to you straight away. Today, for our webinar, we have our lovely Andy Owen. He is our operations manager, and he works very closely with the product team to get the products up and running. And trust me, they've been busy in the last couple of months getting a lot of different features released and some even new products released. And the ones today that we will be covering are just the ones that we released over the last month or so. And again, this is not everything. It's just some of the basic ones that we thought, would benefit you to know about as soon as possible. And then some we will be highlighting in later in the in different formats of webinars. So some of the features that we'll be talking about today is the website intake form. So this will allow you to capture leads on all meta types. And I will show you, it's still in draft format of how you can actually display these, different code and different layouts for the lead capture forms. And also receiving leads for all meta types from your referrers. That's all possible now, so it's not just conveyancing, any active meta type that you have within your portal. Your referrers will be able to send you leads on that. Formal instruction tile and case critical timeline for your dashboard. Again, it's just showing data in different formats, which will allow you to, make your own processes a bit more efficient and give you more visibility of what's happening within your firm. We have a login bar plugin for your website, which we will go over. Advanced client intake option via the quote and inquiry emails that you send out. Scheduling automatic email follow-ups. We do still have the automatic SMS, but this will actually allow you to do automatic email follow-ups. Request a callback button to your emails. Google Ads integration. Pulse reports, which we can send out on monthly basis, bi-monthly or every 3 months to the nominated members of your firm. As well as we'll go over some of the new features that are coming soon over the next month or so. All right, so let's get started. So the website intake form. This is just a demo website. What it shows you is how you can. Yeah.
That's not updated on the screen as of yet.
Oh, it has not.
Still on the agenda.
Apologies. Let me share my screen. There we go. Can you see it now?
Yes, that's the one. Perfect.
Perfect. So this is just the demo website for our demo firm, Balmoral Legal. What you can see here is a few different call to action, get a conveyancing quote, instant quote, and different formats here. What you can do within Perfect Portal, when you set up a web calculator, you get a simple line of code. And that line of code can be embedded in any different formats. You can do an embedded format as well as floating. For example, a lot of the firms use this floating calculator on your website. If you click on it, rather than conveyancing, you can actually have other meta types that you have activated within Perfect Portal. So you can have wills, family law, immigration, whatever. And of course, you can always change the wording. If it's not instant quote, you can always call it get more information, contact us now, that sort of thing, because that is still quite customizable. Within here, as you can see, this is the multi-service law firm. Under wills and probate, you can say get a quote, and you can have will that will generate this form. So you can have it this way. Or immigration law, for example, in here, you can actually have that form for that meta type pop up. Another example, intellectual property, get quote. They just fill in their details, so they don't get a quote immediately. What they will get is just saying, thank you, some member of our team will be in touch with you. And you will get a warm lead where you can fill out the inquiry form and send them that initial email. All right, so this is another way where you have the floating. What you can do, you can have a bit of wording, an image, and you can just so inquire now, put financial inquiry, what that might be. And again, this will send you a notification saying a lead's been generated for this meta type, and then you can do the follow-ups from there and send them the appropriate forms and whatever you might need to send them. This is a way where it's embedded. So let's say this is on your wills page on your website. You can say will inquiry, get in touch with us, and we'll let you know what that entails. They fill in their details and you get a notification instantly. Another way would be, this is for purchase inquiry. A lot of the times, firms, they use this option here where they embed the form completely, or you have the floating, you have the accordion and then you pick the meta types and go from there. You can have that option, or you can actually use each individual transaction type and have that form for that transaction. So, this is for just the purchase. So if you have a separate purchase page or separate area about, new build purchases or whatever, you can actually put the that form right there. And this is another example where, for purchase, if you go get a quote, you have this sale. So you don't necessarily need to have, all those forms together in an accordion. If you like, you can have nice little icons and put get quote, or, depends on how your website is laid out. That is about it. And for the referrer side, what they can do now, like I mentioned earlier, they can send you leads for all the meta types that are activated within your Perfect portal. Okay. And I will pass it on to Andy now, who will go over the next bit.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Satu. Right, just let me share screen here. So some of you may notice there's a little bit different with this dashboard, which you can see here. So the first thing I'm just gonna go over is the formal instruction. This is actually to be enabled on a per law firm basis. But you can see here you've got the formally instructed towards the top. So all of you listening at the minute would have converted, unconverted, lost in your dashboard. Now, what we've actually introduced is the ability to have a formal instruction. So this basically means you can allocate a specific key stage. So let's say client paperwork received from client. So you convert the quotation from quote, complete the initial letter or send the client login details, etc. That will be classed as converted. As soon as you receive that paperwork back from the client, you can then trigger that key stage, which would then be classed as formally instructed. Now, by having this functionality, you can actually then report on the drop-offs from conversion to actually formally instructing that client. And we have a series of reports, also dashboard tiles as well, where you can actually see the from conversions to formally instructed. So throughout a few of these features, if you do have any questions or you want this enabled, please just send an email across to helpdesk@perfectportal.co.uk, and one of your account managers will be able to get you set up and running with this. What we've got next is, if I just slide across, is the case critical timeline dash tile. So this is a full tile which you can see within here. This allows you to actually see what's up and coming with your caseload. So let's take, for instance, exchange of contracts here. This will show the list of cases which have yet to have the exchange of contracts completed. So you can then see as a list, which you can see towards the top left, this is your standard purchase, but you can toggle across for different case types within here. Now, these are enabled within your key stage area by using the case timeline key stage. So you can actually customize whatever you want within here, but just a maximum of 5. And this will actually automatically filter them into the sections which you can see here. So then you can see, for instance, if Tom Williams then exchanged, that would then move across into the completion section. And then once it's completed, it would then be removed from that section within there. Now, it's worth pointing out, we're actually in the very final stages now of releasing the dashboard to be dynamic for areas of law. this will mean it's quite similar toward the top here. So you can actually toggle across for other areas of law. That will then make the dashboard dynamic. So all the tiles, etc., will then relate to the information which is specific to that area of law. This will in turn also update as well, so you could use it for other areas of law. At the minute, it's just conveyancing, but within the next couple of days, that's going to be released, and you'll be able to have access to that within here. Anything else to go over on that one, Satu, or do you?
No, that would be it.
Yeah, perfect stuff. So what we're going to do now is just move over to part of the settings section now. So the first thing we're just going to cover is the login bar from your website. So Satu mentioned it just briefly before, but within here, within your settings section, you've got general, the options on the left hand side. So if we just scroll down, you can then see login bar from your website within here.
Yeah. So what that will allow you to do, at the moment, we do see a lot of firms, they have a button at the top right of their website or under their contact us page or under even, case tracking page where their clients can log in. As you know, this option is actually just for the enhanced package firms. Because with the enhanced package, what that is, it allows your branded app and branded portal to be accessed by your staff, your clients, your referrer agents. So this login bar, you can embed it on your website. You can embed it in multiple locations. So you can have it in horizontal format or in vertical, which Andy will show you. And you can have those, the snippet of the code. You can easily just go click here to email this out, and it will copy that into your email, and you can send it out to whoever takes care of your website. I do recommend putting this on your website because, as we all know, we always forget, how do I log in? What's my password? Those are some of the typical inquiries that we do get from our law firms. So if you embed this onto your website, this will actually let your staff go directly on your website and log in into that portal. Your agents, which is actually a really good way to bring back the agents into your website in case you're releasing something new. Your clients coming to your website, because you always want to generate more traffic to your website, and in case you want to promote something new, they're coming to your website to log in. So again, you can just copy the code and send it over to your person who takes care of your website. And we do recommend putting it more than one location, contact us page, or even if you have a separate page about client portal or referrer portal, you can put it on there, and it will take whoever's logging into their branded portal. Perfect.
Thank you very much. So from this same section, you can see the list of options within here. So we've got a couple of new enhancements which have come out, which is the client request a callback and also the client intake, so the advanced instruction. So first of all, I'm just going to click on the client request callback button. What this allows you to do, it's utilizing a BB code, which I'm going to take you to in a second within the quote email management part of the system. But within here, you've got the request callback button. So similar to how the prompt instruct button works. Now, I know quite a few out there will actually have that call to action prompt instruct button on there. You can have both or either or on the quote email. So from here, if you client clicks on that button, you've got the introduction, and you've also got the confirmation wording below. So this is just some defaulted wording which we put in here for you. But by all means, if you wanted to tweak that wording, chop and change it, then please feel free to do so. Both the click here to request a callback and also the advanced instruction, the client intake, will be sent to the quote owner, so it'll automatically be fired across as a notification to that member of staff for them to then click on, open up the quote within Perfect Portal, and then action that accordingly by contacting the client, etc. So the same goes within here. So if I just click onto the client intake, so this allows the firm, so it'll be off by default, by the way, for everyone out there, unless you've come in here and actually activated it yourself. But by enabling this feature within here by the tick box, what it does, it allows the client to prompt to click at the instruct button once they're in there. And again, I'm going to walk you through that in a little bit later on. But it gives you the introduction wording and the confirmation wording within here. So it allows them to confirm the details. So the purchase address if it's a conveyancing transaction, the correspondence, and it also allows them to add a note as well, which can be emailed across to the person who owns the quote, basically, for if they want to elaborate and add any further details from there. So what I can do now is just to show you whereabouts that is. So if you were to enable it, just tick that within there, go to settings, set up and manage. And then within here, you've got the quote email list towards the top. So if I was to click onto that, click into here. You've got a couple of options here, which you can see. We've already put them on, so you can see the preview on the left-hand side. So you can see the click here to instruct and request a callback. So these are what we call BB codes. So throughout the system, you'll see a series of BB codes. This just pre-populates the information for you to save time when you're sending your quotations out to your clients, etc. But within here, you've got the option towards the top, which is BB codes. If you then go down to general, you've got a couple of options here. So you've got the prompt instruct. You've also got the request a callback. By selecting that in any part of the template within here, it will add the code similar to this. Now, if you wanted to change that wording, if you didn't quite like it, maybe happy to proceed, click here, whatever wording you want in there, if you just simply update it in between these two brackets, that will then update on the preview and also the emails which are sent out to the client as well. I've got a quote ready to go, so I'll show you both the request a callback and the click here to instruct functionality in a moment. But just moving on to another part, which I know we've had many requests of this in the past, and I'm really happy to get this released for everyone, to be honest with you. It's the automatic follow-up. So this is an email one. So like Satu mentioned before, we do have the SMS functionality for at quote level. If you email the quote out to the client, an SMS can be sent, providing they put a mobile number in there. But what we really wanted to do is this automation, which you can see here. So towards the top right, this allows you to automate a quote follow-up, quote or inquiry follow-up. So what you can see, this has already been ticked on. So what we want to do is tick to schedule the first follow-up email. Now, in here, you've got a list of templates. So we've only got the one template set up in here, which is the client chase email. But within your quote email list, you can have as many different templates as you want with different attachments, etc., added onto there. By selecting the client chase email, you've then got another option here, which is when do you want to schedule the email. So it's defaulted to 1 hour, but you can do 1 hour up to 3 days after the quote has been emailed out to the client. Now, this is automatic, and that will automatically schedule, providing the client doesn't click instruct and confirm the instruction. You physically convert that quotation, or the quotation gets declined. If any of them 3 actions happen, then this email won't be sent out to the client. From there, you can elaborate on this as well. You can actually send out a second follow-up email. Now, this could be another template. So that would be sent after the chase email has been sent. So you could maybe incorporate a special discounted rate or etc. I think Satu, you were just going to elaborate more on that one.
Yeah. So what that is, we see a lot of our law firms, they have quite a few quotes in pipeline or getting declined, and these are just different features to kind of give you more opportunities of trying to win that client over and do it in a more of an efficient way, because we know, I know right now so many of the law firms are just dead busy with the amount of work that they have. So this will let you do that automatically. And with the second follow-up email, if it's 2 days after, you haven't heard back from the client, you can change the wording and maybe include some sort of special offers. I'm sure if you try to log in or buy something somewhere, if you don't proceed with the checkout basket, you'll get an offer, of some sort, trying to win you over, and that's what this will allow you to do with your clients. And wording of the emails is very, very important. As you know, we do provide templates, but if you look at your wording, what's the initial quote wording? What's that first chase email looks like? What does that second chase email looks like? Trying to make sure if the client hasn't instructed you, what is it that you can do that can help them win over the line. I'm sure you already have those action points if you were to talk to a client, but then do that in a more of an automated way.
spot on. So this is case type specific, so you can have different templates for different case types, which you can see towards the top of the page here. So if you wanted to word it slightly different for your sale, you definitely want it worded differently for other areas of law. For, let's say, if you did want to utilize that automation email to be sent out, you can obviously amend your templates accordingly and then select the automation within this section here. Also, just to point out, if we did click into the quote email list, you can see a little timer within there. That will just let you know, without having to click in to go and then click into automation, it will just tell you which of the templates have an automation email set against each template. And that will be across each matter type within there as well. Now, once that's been set up, if I just open up the example quote, can you see that screen okay, Satu? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is as if we've just emailed this out to the client. So you've got the attachment, you've got the quote PDF, etc. The preview on the left. But from within here, you've got the two call to action buttons. So I'm actually going to do request a callback first. So from there, if you wanted to request a callback, and again, request a callback, maybe the instruction is a little bit for other areas of law isn't really applicable, and you want to have that more softer approach with your clients to request a callback rather than an instruction. Let's say you can utilize this one instead of utilizing the prompt instruct button. So it's up to yourselves on how you want to proceed with that, really. But as you can see here, it just confirms the details, and then it allows you then just to click request callback. That will send an automated email to the nominated member of staff to then call back and obviously liaise with the client that way. What you've then got is the click here to instruct button. So this is with the client intake advanced instruction enabled. So by clicking on the instruct within here, you can then see it'll say next step. So if that's not enabled, by the way, just so you know, it will basically have a little bit of different wording, and it'll just say confirm. By clicking confirm, that will then be classed as a client's clicked instruct, basically, and it'll fire across an email again to a nominated member of staff, normally the quote owner. And it will also have a stamp as well within the log of the quote overview, just so if you did go into it, you can see the date and time of when that client actually actioned that within there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and click next step within here. So what you've got here is the templated details. So this is very similar to how if a client clicks instruct on the website calculator, if you have that enabled for conveyance and transactions, it basically just outlays the information which has already been added into the system. It's more to just confirm your details. So maybe they've not given the correct phone number, maybe they just give you some whatever reason. This actually, they want to proceed with your law firm, so therefore they will check this to make sure that the data is correct. It's also important, once it's been updated within here, it will actually populate into your system as well. So therefore all the information is fully up to date. So you can see that you got the correspondence address, you can add that in there. We've already captured the property address within here. But that just gives you a nice little overview within there. And as Satu mentioned previously, you've got the additional information form as well in here. So if the client was to add any other information within here, they can add that and then just click confirm details towards the bottom. Now it's worth to note as well, if you, for the enhanced package clients as well, this would, providing the client hasn't already activated their account, this would have an activate account button within here. If they're on a mobile view, they click activate account, it would then take them to a splash screen to actually download your branded app to gain access to that. And again, I think Satu mentioned at the start of this, we've got a separate webinar which we're going to cover on the app side of things as well. So I just wanted to touch base on that one. Anything else you'd like to add on that, Satu?
No, that's about it. And what Andy showed earlier within the settings area under the client intake option, that's where you can actually customize the wording, what you see beforehand, as well as the confirmation, the thank you message and all that. So you have, we do have templated wording in there, but of course you can definitely make that your own, include your own phone numbers and DB codes as well. If you have a solicitor name or solicitor phone number, you can include those in there as well.
Absolutely. Just next one, I can show you how you can enable this, but I can't show the functionality behind it. But basically, it's the Google Ads integration. So this is for website calculators. So for any of you out there who do have Google Ads and who do utilize that software, if we were to click on the top right, on my Homer picture there, go to my account, you've got on the left-hand side, you've got link Google Ads account within here. So once you actually connect to your Google Ads account, you can allow the details to sync to each other. That is basically connected, which you can see within here. Now, once you've connected, you can then apply them against your lead sources. So within settings and then general, go down to lead sources, which you can see within here. This will then give you access to apply a campaign group or ad. Again, each of these are optional against each lead source. So the lead source name would be probably what you've got called for the Google Ads, but this can be customizable and you can tweak this as much as you like. But it allows you to then select the relevant campaigns, groups, and ads against that lead source. By doing that, you will then have access to that specific lead source within the dashboard to show the what's coming unconverted, what's the conversions on there, what's you lost. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you're paying a lot of money for these Google Ads, and you want to see that obviously be converted rather than declines. But by having this functionality behind it, allows you to keep track of that. You've also got access to the report suite as well, where you can track where the conversions are going for the Google Ads. So within the report suite, if I just scroll down, which one have we got? So you've got the web calc lead source with legal value within here. So by clicking into that, you will then be able to see the list of all your all the lead types within here. So again, these will be specific to your Google ad campaign, etc. And you'll be able to see the instructed converted pipeline amount within there as well.
Just out of curiosity, can you raise your hand if you use Google Ads? We know already we're working with a few clients already to activate this to their accounts. Is there anyone attending the webinar that uses Google Ads? If you can raise your hand. Okay, so not anyone in here, but yeah, we did have a few firms request.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, we had, especially with the web calc. So if that is something that you're looking at, is investing into, Google paid ads or anything like that, then that's a great opportunity to track and see, which calculators are working, locations of the calculators and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think the final one from my side would be just to show you the automatic pulse reports, which can be sent out to nominated members of staff. So like Satu mentioned before, we can actually set the system to send this out. It'll be at the first of every month. But what it'll actually compare is the data. So if I just quickly show you what that email would look like. You see that okay, Satu?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So this can be sent out every month, every 2 months, or every 3 months. And what it does, it compares the data, which you can see the information within here. Now, this will be set out once it's scheduled. It will actually be automated to automatically get sent out every single time it comes through. So you can see the information which has come here. So it's really key just to see the activity and the positivity of what the Perfect Portal is actually giving to you as a business. So you can see the top quote converter, the top referrers. You've got the lead sources, where it's coming from. But then you've got the different sets of infographics towards the bottom as well. So this will show you the peaks and troughs going across there with the percentage of where you're up to as well, with a little description of what each infograph means. Now, this doesn't require to have a registered user, because what you can see there is you can actually click in if you wanted more information to actually elaborate more. You may want to go into the dashboard, the report suite, etc. from there. Just very quickly on this one. This is the automated email, but if we just jump into the system, you've got towards the left-hand side, you've actually got access to a control center within here. So by clicking into that, that will automatically load this information for you, and you can compare all the information from there. It's dynamic in a way of, if you were to change the information within there to yesterday, that would then compare it. So this is just, this is our demo company, by the way, so it is fictitious data, but that would automatically match up for you. So you can see it's comparing from the 4th to the 5th of August if you were going to do a day.
Yeah, and that's the same tiles that we would send in the Pulse report. So if you do have, any managing partners that might not be set up as a user, but that they would benefit from receiving these reports because, your conveyancing departments is working, quite hard, and there's all these great numbers, but you want to show that to your partners, you can let us know, and we will set them up as a light user and schedule those, emails and the Pulse reports to go to them directly every month or every other month. And you can select which tiles from here, other than the top 5, because those are all automatically included, but other tiles that you want to include in that Pulse report.
Yeah, and it's just also nice to come in here as well, because you can see an activity log. So this is an activity log, so it's currently set to everything, but you can see users logged in, so you can see the activity of your users. If you wanted to see how often the users are actually logging in, the emails which have been sent, etc. So it's really a nice, this is a live feed of the activity of what's happening within your law firm, as well as the breakdown towards the top right, which you can toggle across to last 7 days, and then that will update the information accordingly within there.
Like, thank you. And then I am going to go, I'll share my screen if that's all right. There we go. So what I want to show you is some of the new features that are coming soon. Again, what we covered today, these are not all the released features because it's very hard to go over everything in one webinar. But if you do have more questions, please feel free to contact us, and I'll share our details in a bit. So what we have coming soon is some new integrations. So if you're on the webinar and you're using DPS, ALB, and Osprey, great news. We are in our final stages of pushing those integrations with those case management systems live. So that will be, sending the data from Perfect Portal when you convert a quote directly into your case management system, as well as afterwards, doing the integration with the workflows if there are workflows available, as well as key stages, so you can, automate that communication process. We're also doing an integration with eCost, which is an InfoTrack product, and what that will allow is for you to send TA forms, which is all digital, signature requests, ID verifications, all through the branded app. So for the end consumer, they're having that consistent experience with your firm rather than sending them different logins for different portals. With the branded app enhancements, as you know, we have the app that's available at the lead and the quote level now, which will allow you to use the app to get that client to win over. We do know a lot of the firms that you have your new business team, so this is a great way for them, because we have added the activation of accounts as well as download the apps at earlier stage. So we can prompt the clients or prospective clients to download your app so they can see, what it will be like if they do instruct you. And then from your new business team, they can actually chat to those clients if they do download the app via the portal and try to win them over. Document preview, so this is within the chat. So with the iOS devices, before there's few steps involved to view the document in an iOS device, but now you can see it immediately. As soon as you send a Word doc, PDF, you'll be able to, the client will be able to preview it immediately, and they can also share it via WhatsApp, email, or whatever apps that they have on their phones. Again, we'll be doing a more detailed webinar on the branded app side of things, enhancements, what we have done over the last month or so, and what is coming soon later on, because we're just waiting to push a few more things live so we can do more of an in-depth webinar on that. That is it. What I'll do, this is our main office line as well as for help desk. If you have any questions or need any support with any of the features that we covered, please feel free to email help desk. And what we'll do now is answer some questions. So we have one here. Can you have the form embedded on a web page and a floating quote calculator? Yes, you can. So you can embed it and then you can have it, behind a button like I shown, and have it floating as well. And I always recommend, for the calculator, place it at many locations as you can, because as consumers, not everyone's going to visit your website and, have the same journey. So make sure you add it to multiple locations. Can we have the recording of the webinar? Yes, of course. I will be sending that out later today once we finish processing it. This seems to ask them to download the app before instructing. Is that right? So when Andy clicked the prompt instruct button, so that was a more of a warm instruction that the client is giving the law firm. And then from there, they can activate their account and download the app. The consumers actually, they can download the app at a lead level. So even through your website calculator, let's say they click instruct, they can download the app from there. Or let's say they just come across your app on the App Store, or they saw your social post, then, or your client login portal page, they can actually fill out the form from there, which will create a warm lead for you as well. Is eCause only on branded app? Through the integration, it is only for the branded app, but again, that's an InfoTrack product and that is something that you can use directly through them. Are the pulse reports only set up by yourselves, or can we do it? David, the pulse reports are only set up by ourselves because we have to do it through the back end of the system, but you can select which tiles you want and which individuals you want that information to receive. So let's say if you have 5 different users at your firm and you want each user to receive different tile information, we can do that for you. I also had another question where somebody had said, apologies for that, where somebody had asked about, the Google campaigns and that's their marketing team. We can actually give your marketing team access if that's something you like, and it'd be a light user, so they won't be able to generate any quotes or anything, but they can go within the system, and if they want to look at branding of your emails, or set up the marketing campaigns for your referrers, or even set up the Google Ads campaign, they can do that. So if you do have a marketing team or marketing manager that you want to give access to the portal, do let us know and we can set them up as a light user. Do you have anything to add to those questions, Andy?
No, I think that covers everything, to be honest with you.
Fantastic. Well, if you, please, can we have some more info on what a light user is and isn't able to do? For that one, what it is, they're just able to look at, for example, you have your marketing team. We do have some firms. This is a new feature that we released not too long ago. Marketing team that's not generating quotes or not converting quotes, we can give them access to light user where they can look at and update emails, or send out those marketing campaigns to the referrers and access that bit. Or for a managing partner, that might just want to look at the data for each of the offices and that sort of thing. That's pretty much it. The main things that they can't do is generate quotes and convert them and be allocated to those quotes. Is that correct, Andy?
Yes.
Perfect. And cost for a light user, because they're not able to do the main bits, which is the generating quotes and converting them, there is no cost associated with the light user. Okay, and same thing with the branded app, because we have opened it at the lead level, quote level, because what we want to do is for our law firms to be able to convert as many quotes as they can, because the worst thing, especially from my end when I review the accounts, is seeing a firm receiving hundreds and hundreds of quotes, but not being able to convert all of them. So for the opening that app at the lead and quote level, the cost is still the same. You're only getting charged for per converted matter, but you have app that you can give access to all, at the quote and lead level. All right. Any other questions? Do you have anything to add, Andy?
Yeah, I think just elaborating on that, access at lead and quote level for the branded app clients is the communication side of things. So what you can actually have is the chat enabled by default. So that means when the client activates their account, the chat window is there for them to communicate straight away. Or you can have it another way, in which the member of staff from the law firm actually initiates the chat. But I think that's a great way to engage with the clients, like Satu mentioned there, to win that business. If you can communicate via a chat platform at quote and lead level, it's even more likely to win that business.
Perfect. And if you don't have, no, we're actually running out. That's okay. If you don't have the branded app and would like to know more information or how the app would work with eCOS, please shoot me an email, satu.dollywall@perfectportal.co.uk, and I can send you a bit of a brochure on how eCOS would work with the branded app as well, and we can go from there. We don't have a demo for that yet because we're still in work in progress, and we're hoping to launch that as soon as possible, but we do have a bit of collateral and how the screens would look like. Lovely. Thank you everyone for attending, and we will try to do these as often as we can, because we are releasing things quite quickly, and it's all the development's fault. Marketing is trying to keep up with everyone. So if you do have any questions, please reach out, and we can always organize one-on-one session. All right.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Cheers.